You are listening to the Backline podcast.
I'm Trey,
This is Tristan.
and you're listening to the Backline podcast. Today we're talking about the singles from our pre-COVID era, which was 2020. I think our singles came out after COVID happened. During COVID, I don't know, COVID was a couple
A blur,
years, which
yes.
is what they tried to do, and they succeeded. Them bastards.
God damn it.
But so from COVID to current, and our last single was released actually coming up on a year. July 21st was Red Eye in 2023. So we'll get to that. We're going to start from the top, which is the oldest one, which is Dissociate.
Yeah. That was, you just want to, like, how do you want to dive into that?
Oh, let's just dive
Yeah,
in. You know,
all right.
I was going to plan this out because we have
It's kind of more fun,
writings.
free form.
Well, we have writings and readings on it where we go really in depth, but all I'm going to do when we put the podcast out is link that and be like, if you really want to get into them, here they are. But
Yep.
we're going to wing it.
All right. Yeah, that was, that one was another one of those ones that just kind of flowed together by itself. I think we worked with Josh on that one. He sings on that one. Obviously, we have parts where we scream, but not the whole thing, like most of the singles. But that one was just, I think you had some riffs on the shelf. And we were sitting around one night and we were like, hey, let's just like do a song. And then we ended up recording like a scratch demo of it at one point, and then it just kind of evolved from there. Like,
Yeah, and go back to your first point. I think the reason it flowed so well was because we had the addition of Josh. It was like a fresh mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had this stupid riff idea, which is the main riff. It's the dun 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 dun, dun. And that came from I remember it. I tried writing this gent fast song, and it was that riff but sped up like twice as fast and like random did it.
Nope.
And Tristan's like, hell no. And
because you have a changing time signature.
and then I took it to Josh. I think I Snapchatted him back when I lived in the townhouse. I was jamming one night and I just kind of took that riff and slowed down, and I'm like, ooh. And I sent it to him. He goes, oh, that's, Josh is so creative. I think he took that and like came up with a map
Yeah.
already. And then, yeah, we used to sit around and hang out and just toss ideas back and forth in that little townhouse where I used to live. And I think that's essentially how Dissociate came to be. Other than that song was really good at playing it live together and then just flowing.
Yeah.
Because that's how we came up with the breakdown and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
It was like, it definitely has a different flow than any of our other songs. Like, it totally stands out as a single.
oh, for sure.
And
It really is a single. I mean,
Yeah.
it's out there in a good way, but
Yeah.
it was fresh. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a nice burst of, a nice something different,
yeah.
similar but different. Obviously, it's heavy. We play heavier stuff, but the Hour, Dead to Me. I think those were really good, and that's my favorite releases to date. And then it's nice to have that's our stuff and that's our favorite, and then have another fresh release and Dissociate. It kind of keeps that momentum going a little bit,
Yeah.
even though they were 2 years apart. But
No, right. Yeah, that was a fun one. I remember it was just quick. Like, I very vividly remember I was just kind of sitting around and writing that one.
I remember he even got out the marker board and we were
Yeah.
doing, because his jam space was pretty nice and is pretty nice. And yeah, he had a marker board there from his bands. He has another band, his band's practice. And I remember he took pictures of the format and stuff and then hurried up and erased it on the marker board and then started writing out the map we were coming up with.
Yeah.
So, and Josh being the instrumentalist that he is, he was able to actually grab the guitar from me and be like, hey, try this. And then it, get on the drums and do his thing there too. So it just brought this freshness and this, third opinion and different point of view for the song.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have written that song without Josh, 100%. Especially the way that he barks the vocals out too. I mean, that just really that to me, and the breakdown, because we don't do breakdowns like that usually. It's a very metalcore, deathcore, whatever.
Yeah.
Chunky boy breakdown. And we don't normally do that.
No.
And Josh is super good at that stuff. So, yeah, that was a fun one.
Was that one on the baritone?
Yeah.
That wasn't the baritone.
That one's in drop A. Open. Is it open? Open drop A. Yeah, it's like a drop D, but drop A, so everything's a bar. But yeah. That was I think that was the last one on the was it the last one on the Mesa Boogie? Triple Rec? I think it was.
I don't remember what you recorded that one on.
Man, I think it was. So I had a Mesa Boogie triple rec. We're getting a little off topic here, but I know the hour had the triple rec on it.
Yep.
Because our engineer at Blast House Studios reached out to us after the hour had been out and released. And he said he's getting a lot of compliments and comments on our guitar tone. And he asked me, he goes, "What are you using? I have somebody who wants to know." And I'm like, "Well, it's a triple rec Mesa Boogie." So I remember that. And I really think that Dissociate had it too. And then we lost that head in a house fire. It didn't catch on fire. It was plugged into an outlet.
Yeah.
Which we normally don't leave shit plugged in. And lightning struck the house and blew it. So blew out everything in an outlet.
There
and
you
it
go.
happened to be the triple rectifier head.
Right.
Which, whatever. I upgraded to a Bogner Uberschall.
Yep.
So the head of heads. Now, so what we did in 2020 was we recorded 2 singles at the same time, but we released them, staggered them a little bit just to try to keep it fresh and keep the algorithm rolling for us, because that's what Spotify and everybody likes is fresh releases. Even though we're meaningless to them, size wise, but
Right.
that's how people try to beat it. It's consistency. So we recorded another song at that time. So we released Dissociate, and I really like how we released Dissociate. So what we did is we actually did a Facebook Live, and it was very interactive. People were on there waiting for the release, and we were able to talk about it and had Josh with us. It was cool. And that's one thing I want to do again when we release these new songs. It was just a cool way to interact.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
People were asking about it, and then what we did was after the Facebook Live ended, I think we gave them like a half hour to go download it for free or something.
Yeah. Yep.
That got a good response, and then it was out. I mean, yeah, that was cool, creative. But again, I think just having the Josh as that third member for that song and that release was cool.
Yeah.
And he's the cover. He's the artwork.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
His buddy's a local photographer and artist out of Madison, and really made the artwork flow with what our vibe and atmosphere was going for.
Oh, yeah.
Damn bubbly water.
I was going to say, here we would like turn into a frog.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one. I don't remember, like, the drumming parts were pretty, like, they just kind of fit the song. I didn't really have to work that hard to find those. They just kind of worked. I know they're a little bit more particular than most of my other drum lines, because you have to, like, line up with the, like, digga-digga-digga-digga.
Yeah, it's
whatnot.
very percussive.
Yeah. But, no, that was a good, fun one to write. Good to
You
have
even-
Josh there. And
You even had some China in that one, didn't you?
oh, yeah.
You did the standard
You got
breakdown fucking.
got to be in every breakdown. If there's not a China symbol in a breakdown, it's not a breakdown.
All right. So then, like I said, we released that one, and it was January 24th, 2020 is when it came out on DistroKid and the platforms and whatever else. And then I want to say February or March of that same year, we released our second, I call them pre-COVID singles, Growl.
Yep.
Now, Growl is not our song.
Nope. So that was easy to write.
Yeah, we just put our own touch on it. So we got all the permissions because it was our uncle's band, their song. Got the approval from all of them. Put our own spin on it, a.k.a. drop B,
Yep.
and just added some gutturals, and away we went.
Yep.
You even did the impossible fill.
Yep, there's a fill going into the second verse that's impossible in there. Or at least originally was impossible. I fudged it a little bit, but
Nobody knows the
Well, now they
original.
do.
No, nobody knows
No.
the original fill. So tell them about it. Tell them why it is considered the impossible fill.
it's a 4-arm fill. You can't have that many arms. To try to explain it, it's like what I'm doing, except for there's more going on. So you can't hit like two cymbals and the toms at the same time.
because it's a walk down to the toms.
It's a walk
isn't it?
down to the toms, and there's also like I think two cymbals working at the same time. So it's like you need 4 arms to make that work, and I fudge it, and it's funny because whenever we had played that song before we recorded it,
Yeah.
like we had done it as a cover, and whenever our uncle was in the crowd, I'd always look at him when I'm doing that fill, and he'd laugh at me because he's just like, I know what you're doing. It's just a funny little thing. Yeah, that song, that was a really easy studio experience. We didn't really have to work that hard at it. It was just kind of like, all right, do the drum track, done. Do the guitars, double the guitars, done. Do the vocals. Is your voice okay? Do another one, done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do the bass.
Yeah. All right, the bass too, yeah. But yeah, that was really fucking easy. And
It was. And, our uncle's band actually, don't ever tell him I said this, but their band actually has a lot of good songs, or had.
Yep.
No, he knows that. I tell him that. But this one just fit us so well because it was simple, easy to play, and just it's on the gas.
Yeah.
There's dynamics in there.
Yep.
But it's literally just clean pedal.
Yeah.
Distortion, clean pedal.
It's either
distortion.
either on or halfway. We've done other songs from them, just either screwing around. I don't know if we ever actually played any other ones out loud, but this is the one we kind of were like, yeah, we're gonna play this one. This is the song that we're playing.
It's a good simple song, and it's funny. We did a Substack writing where we listed our favorite covers. And smartass over here put that one on there because I totally forgot it was a cover.
Yeah.
We did like our top 5 favorite cover songs to play, and I had like Godsmack and Stained and Metallica and whatever else and Neil Young, and then Tristan listed similar stuff, and then all of a sudden Growl. I'm like, you fucker, you outsmarted the Substack.
Got him.
So yeah, it is a cover. Like I said, we got all the permissions for it.
Yeah.
Made it our own essentially, and
Released it as a single.
yeah, it was cool because when it came out, we sent it to the former band members whose song it is, and all of them were like, we're honored you cover. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
They were like happy that we even covered it. So yeah, cool experience, and the artwork on that one. I remember I had to set up my phone in my old basement. Was an unfinished basement, underground level. It would always flood. It was damp. But I set up my phone on like the caked spray foam,
Oh yeah.
and then faced the camera. And then I stood there and hung a mic from the unfinished ceiling of the basement. And then just put my hood up and shit, and we put some filters on it, and that was Growl.
Yep.
So DIY, baby.
DIY. Now that was an easy one. That was a fun one. We still play that one as a cover every now and then. We'll still do it.
That's one though. If people aren't ready for it, they shit themselves because it's just like we said, it's fucking.
It's just so much. It's so quickly.
Oh,
The song starts just with guitar and whatever, and then just gas. It's just it's just. But yeah, that's a good one. Fun one. I remember the studio experience just being so fucking quick. Like it was just like, because we knew. We basically had a road in front of us. We just had to tell them how to drive on it.
Because we did Dissociate and Growl both in the same day, and I think. Dissociate was obviously a little more complex, but then Growl was just like, get in there, boys, and then fucking poof, done. But again, we practiced here. We did demos otherwhere.
Yep.
Otherwhere. Wow. We did demos, and we're not going to name where because that's for the paid subscribers this week. They're getting, they're actually, so what I'm doing, a little insert here before we go on to the next era of singles. The paid subscribers are going to get the 2 singles we just talked about, Dissociate and Growl. We recorded them elsewhere and almost released them as they were. But they were recorded, mixed, mastered elsewhere at a secret studio. So, paid subs, we're going to let you hear them. Now, next one up is Dead Weight.
Yep.
Dead Weight, we've already talked about this, was one take. It was literally one attempt. It was our first single that we recorded, our first song that we recorded down here, and we're dead set on sending it out. I mean, we did demos of The Hour and shit like that in our basement, but we never were contemplating releasing it. But this was one that we were like, we're going to release it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I drop C on an acoustic guitar.
Yep.
One take, 3 chords. That's Dead Weight. So,
I remember that being a relatively easy recording. I think that was. I remember. Are there drums in the recording of that?
No.
one? No, there aren't. Yeah, but the rest of it was really easy. Like, I mean, for me, it was. I guess for me, it was. I just had to set up the mics and make everything sound good. But,
there's one spot in there that I fucked up, but we kept it. At the end,
it's character.
You won't hear it. You will hear it now
That's
that I pointed it out. But yeah, that was our first and only acoustic tune.
Yep.
Like raw acoustic tune. We've always talked about doing a kind of like a, not a Garage Days like Metallica CD, but almost like an unplugged CD of us doing acoustic originals, just fucking setting mics out and going, not polishing shit up. Which we somewhat did if you were at our Bulgarian show, and we have a couple left over, but we did Sinner and Come Down acoustically recorded. We set up mics and sold a couple CDs like that. So, yeah, maybe do something like that again. But that otherwise, Dead Weight is the only one we have like that.
Yeah.
So we've actually taken that and made it an electric song now too, which is cool. That way we can throw it into our electric sets. We can go hard, a little break with Dead Weight, and then back to it, build back up. So it's become a good one to throw into our electric sets. Kind of lets people know that you're still human. You're not just freaking going, bro.
Yeah, that's a nice dynamic to everything.
My favorite is, though, when we do that at heavy metal shows, the metal guys are like, oh, what the fuck, man?
It's such a funny vibe shift.
Yeah.
Specifically
well,
at those shows.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
Dude, chill.
You can tell they just aren't expecting it ever. I don't know. It's so goofy.
It's funny.
It's hard to explain, but when you're on stage and you just kind of see the vibes like change a little bit, it's so funny.
Those real metalheads don't like diversity, man.
No.
They just want to crowd kill and hit each other.
One trick pony acts.
Yeah, we don't. I shouldn't say we don't like that. We don't vibe with that. We like to do a little bit of everything. That's what makes music fun. There's no fucking rules, unless you're playing by their rules.
You're not fighting the man, dude.
Yeah, we're not fighting the man when we slow it down. You guys sound like Nickelback. Stained, what are you doing? This isn't Slayer.
You're saying this like somebody walked up to you and said all this stuff to you. But
yeah, it sounds like somebody said it.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
it's just one guy that follows Trey around and just picks on him for all the music he plays, and he's quoting him.
Oh, buzzwords, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Dead Weight was fun. We caught people off guard, I think, when we released it, even because we're like, here, this is raw. It's unapologetic. It's
different.
Pretty vulnerable. I mean, we just fucking set up a mic, recorded. My guitar's got a plug-in, so Tristan set a mic out. We plugged it in. I swear I sang at the same time.
I don't remember.
But anyways, it was like go.
Yeah.
You know, it was. So
it was pretty set up and go. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of more of a start to refining that whole idea of recording our own.
To me, in that sense, to me, it was kind of like the stepping stone of, okay, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's room for refinement, which we're gonna get to another song that was another stepping stone. But yeah, I think Deadweight was kind of like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, we can do this ourselves. We just need to learn. And we learn by, I'm a hands-on learner. I learn by doing. So continue to do it. And I'll tell you what, not to get off track, but the stuff that we've already recorded this year that's not going to come out till next year, it's sounding better already. So you learn by doing, and you know what? Fucking not everybody's got $1 million budgets to, like the pop artists, to go in the studio.
No, right.
So it's cool to be able to do it ourselves and get some satisfaction and knowledge that way. So
it's kind of fun though too, because you don't need to stress over everything sounding fucking perfect. You know, it's like when you're in the studio, you got that pressure of just like, hey, it's like paid time and all this shit. And this is a whole other discussion, but I like being here because it's just like, yeah, I mean, I could fix that, or we can leave it be character of the song, you know, and stuff like that, or, you know, it's not perfect. And
well, what the hell were we listening to with Dad? It wasn't Motley Crue, but it sounded like them. And remember when we were out fishing 2 weekends ago?
Yeah, I don't remember the band name.
Was the rawest shit ever, and that's like was acceptable in the 80s. And I'm like, like even Nirvana Bleach, they recorded that album for $600. You can hear it, but that's what makes that damn album.
No, right.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's a
whole nother discussion. So segue Deadweight into Decline.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one was its own monster. I think we had some trouble recording that one for a little bit. At least mixing and mastering it, I had some trouble with it a little bit here and there.
We went back and forth on it a little bit.
Yep, that was when I was kind of figuring it out a little bit more. It was kind of more of a, at least as far as my stuff went. The drumming was really easy. I remember getting that done. That was pretty quick and easy. Because there's not a whole lot of complication to that song. I think the recording part of it was pretty quick and easy. I think we redid the vocals a couple of times. But then beyond that, it was like just kind of learning. Because like when you're mixing and mastering music and you're an amateur, you're kind of just like throwing spaghetti at a wall. And like
if it's
done, it'll stick, you know, and stuff like that. And that's just kind of what it was. If I look back at that mix now, like if I were to open up that project and the amount I've learned since then, I'd be like, this is a fucking mess. But the idea is that you try to get it to sound a way that you want, and then like build your ideas off of that. And then you get the knowledge for making things sound the way you want better, you know? So like, at least that was my philosophy, is I want to try to manually make this sound the way I want it to as well as I can, and then learn the actual techniques for it. Because then, I don't know, something about that helps me learn, because you kind of understand the logic of it a little bit differently.
Hate on it all you want, but guess what our most listened to on Spotify was?
It was that song.
Decline.
Yep.
Topped our Spotify Wrapped.
Yep.
Last year. So that just goes to show people aren't always looking for perfection.
No.
I think radio friendliness.
No, yeah.
Ear pleasantry.
I mean, that song just kind of keeps trucking, you know. It doesn't, it's just, it's easy to listen to because it just kind of keeps going.
That's another one like Growl.
Yeah.
It's just fucking boom.
It has those fast breaks for the choruses and whatnot that are kind of fun.
That was interesting for us. That
was a different one. I know we wanted to do something different there. Like, there was a lot of ways that could have gone, but I think it adds a nice dynamic to the song. That's a funny one to play live because, you know, people are headbanging with you during the verse. They're like, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like quadruple time, you know, tuku, 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 tuku. And they're just like, okay, you know, and then it locks back in. They're like, oh, I get it now. It's funny. I watch that happen when I'm drumming back there, when I can actually see. Yeah, it's just, it's so funny to see that because they're like, oh, that's where it's at. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the groove is so simple, but what catches you is that, that double time.
Yeah. Looking back on it, I think there are some things I would have changed about the beats, but I don't change them when we play it anyways, so I probably wouldn't like it if I recorded it. So I guess one of those things where it's like, logistically, this shouldn't be what I'm doing, but it works. It's just what fit there.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's like, we get pressure from people who love Sinner, that whole album. I'll go back and pull some off there and re-record them. It's like, no, let them be their own thing. It's done. If you want to hear how we play them now, come to our shows.
Yeah.
because we do play Slave and Sinner, but it's like we're not going to go back and re-record. So leave it in the past, move on.
Yeah.
So same with this one. There's mistakes in there by me as well. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But Decline, I think it came from that damn riff.
Yeah, it's
Just
just
the dugga-dung,
it's this
dung,
caveman
dugga-dung, dung.
riff.
Yeah.
I remember, well, if you listen, this is a little sneak peek. If you turn the volume up before you scream in the beginning, there's just a click track there. You can just hear it. And now
that's when we had that bleeding through the
Yeah.
headphones problem.
now that I told you, you won't be able to unhear it. But when we were recording, this space being as volatile as it is sometimes, I think that time the clicks were actually coming through your amp.
They were.
Yeah,
Because that Bogner's so hot.
I think there was some cable laying over your
Yeah.
chain somewhere, and it came through that click, and it was so funny because we like finished a guitar take, and then I hear it coming through the mic, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Because you're supposed to, when you end, I think that song end a, and like you want that to fade out, but all you hear is, you just hear that in there,
Oh.
and it's like, oh, this is a fucking mess,
Maybe that's why it was the most listened to song.
just because you're like, what the fuck
What
is
the
that?
fuck is that?
But you can hear it in the beginning. I did my best to like knock it down, but
I
that's
was going to say you did a lot of ducking.
yeah. In the beginning, it was your headphones
Yep.
because your mic was here and this was cranked way up, but then like in a lot of that song, it was just that. Like I'm really glad your riff is so like
Constant.
it's so constant because
Yeah.
otherwise you would just hear that. And honestly, there's probably spots where if you had nice headphones, you probably could hear it.
But see, that's the okay. Two things. So that's the thing. Most people are not going to listen to this
No.
through nice headphones. That was one thing that our bass player said that made sense to me because he's like, I think back when we were trying to record our own shit really badly,
Yeah,
really badly.
fucking,
We
like-
have those demos and we'll never share them. Well, I shared them with our
They're
paid
funny,
subs,
yeah.
but they were terrible. And back when we were recording, he did say, he goes, it's not like somebody's gonna get this and put on their $300 pair of headphones and listen. They're gonna listen to it, computer speakers, car speakers.
Yeah.
So exactly. Second point of that is, I can't fucking remember.
All right.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So yeah, our studio is one room. You got the we'll call it the power station, right? Where everything's at, the control room. And then you got right next to it, we're looking at it right now.
No.
Right next to it, we've got everything that we record. So we're making do with what we had. It's hell of a lot nicer than what a lot of people have. A lot of people don't even have the option to play in a nice area. We
Right.
can record and play. So taking what we can get. But yeah, the headphone bleed. That was one thing when we finished that song and found that out. I've got a bulletin board behind the control room here, the battle station, and I've got rules for recording. And right away, number one is click through headphones.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we watch now. So yeah, and then we finished that song up and then did a video
Yep.
right off of an iPhone.
Shot
I
on
don't know.
iPhone.
Yeah. Shot on iPhone. Where's our damn
Yeah,
commercial?
God damn it. Yeah, that was fun because it was like, I don't remember if we had the audio playing. I think we were just kind of winging it.
No, we had the audio, but it was through
Was it just through a fucking like
Like
portable
a-
speaker?
portable speaker.
So it was like kind of hard to line up.
But we did enough takes. We were able to chop
Yeah.
shit together.
I remember editing that. I was the one who edited that, and just taking all the footage and being like, "What the fuck do I do with this now?" Like trying to find spots that were actually where they were. By you have obviously you have like the videos that we took, and we didn't use the audio from those videos, obviously, but like. Yeah, you're like you're just banging on the strings and whatnot, or like, yeah, do another take, just in there. But then fucking trying to line that shit up by either using the audio or just trying to visually line it up was fun. But really fucking funny because like it was all shot in such a dark place.
Oh, that video is so.
I think
The lighting was bad.
every clip I'm like adding like white noise and white space to see if I can just bring it like brighter at all without overblowing it, and just be like, oh my God, what can I do here? Slide up, slide down.
Oh,
But it was fun. It was a fun project to do. And it was fun to just like do it ourselves because it's like
yeah.
easy to be like, all right, this is what I want for this. You know, it's not like trying to explain it to, and we've talked about that before, but it's easier because I have my own ideas about what that needs to be versus trying to explain it to somebody who maybe isn't a musician and trying to get those ideas to line up.
To me, if you have discipline, which we lack on sometimes, it is so much easier to do everything yourself because you're not explaining yourself. You're not spending money. You're not, I mean, you spent money to get the gear and shit in the forefront, and gaining that knowledge to me and that's the whole thing that goes along with music. So you don't make fucking money in music. The whole point of music is to create and enjoy it, and not create to hopefully make money on it, which I got to tell myself sometimes. But that was cool because that's what Decline was. It was everything ourselves. We're learning. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass to schedule sometimes, and it's a Saturday, nice out, and instead of going out and enjoying it, we're gonna fucking sit in the studio and record songs and be pissed at each other because Trey, you're off, or Tristan, do this or do that, or whatever. But it's nice to be able to do it yourself, gain that knowledge, experience. Obviously, we go to the studio still, which will transition into our next single.
Yep.
So we went from doing 2 home studio Mile 134 HQ recordings back to Blast House. Tell you why, bread. Tell you why.
Just on a tangent really quick. Tell you rye bread. Okay, buddy.
Tell you, I don't know. I don't like rye bread.
It's honestly only good for Reubens. Like,
okay, yeah.
Ma used to make those Reubens that were really fucking good.
I do like Reubens.
They were like baked Reubens.
Yeah.
And that rye bread is what makes it. Because if you you can do Reubens and sourdough. That's
what it was.
That's kind of all one flavor. But if you get the rye bread in there, it's fucking good.
Is it coleslaw on Reubens or is it sauerkraut?
I think it's either. I think you can do both. I think it's usually coleslaw and like ham or something. Dude, I'm speaking like I fucking know. I don't know. I know Reuben is food and I eat it.
Reuben's good.
Yeah.
Anyways. What the hell were we talking about?
You were going to release a new song, went to Blast House.
Oh, the reason we went back to the reason we went back, that Kirkland water's hitting me.
Real. Oh, fuck.
No. The reason we went back to Blast House on Red Eye was because the lack of discipline.
Yeah.
We kept pissing around with the demo. We had a good demo down, and we couldn't get it. Tristan was doing a good job mixing and mastering it. I started to get really picky, and then I didn't like our original breakdown. And then I think we're just like, fuck it. We pretty much had the song done.
Yeah.
And then we're like, let's just book time. So we force ourselves to go in, kind of get a third opinion on some of the stuff and go. So I'm glad we did, because Red Eye had this, in my mind, this huge sound we were trying to emulate, and we just weren't quite getting it down here, and we needed that expertise and that guidance from our guy Dustin at Blast House, which he gave it to us. Shout out Dustin. Our guy, that's the guy we go to, and we don't record down here. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I think with Red Eye, knowing now what I do, we probably could have done it down here, but it was that we weren't getting the amount of space that we needed in that song. It needed space, and it needed some more ambiance and a little more, like, I want to say, refinement. It just needed that little bit of polish from the studio, just because it's one of those songs that's kind of, spacey and needs that. And it turned out really well. I know we added, this is a little secret, into the second verse, we added that in the studio. And I think that was like Dustin's idea, if I recall correctly.
Poison.
Yeah. Was that his idea?
Yeah.
Or was that ours before?
That was our idea, but he really made it good. And then he added, he helped with the whole ambiance of the song.
Ambience. I never know what fucking.
Yeah, it was like ambient, ambiance.
Ambulance. The ambulance in that song is really good. Wee woo,
But, that, so not to take away from what we did prior to that, because we were very fucking practiced by that point.
Yeah.
We knew the direction of 95% of the song. The only spot we were hesitant on was the breakdown and bridge. And I'll tell you what, you guys, we're glad, and you should be glad we didn't stick with our original breakdown, because
it's funky.
It was funky, way too long.
Yeah,
and it just threw the vibe off the song. What we did way better now. Way better with the clean cut to the vocal breakdown to no instruments, and then just right back in it, and then into the last chorus. I mean,
it was one of those things where it was like, hey, I have all these ideas. Let's use all of them.
Yeah, it was. Let's put this in there and then go to that and that and that and that and that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we worked that out.
Chopped it down a little bit.
Because it actually cut the song by about a minute, too.
Yes. Uncle would have been fucking pissed. He hates breakdowns.
He don't like slow songs.
Punk
either.
guy. He's like, fucking no breakdowns in there. He'd have called you up.
So, yeah. Red Eye 2, we did a visualizer for that. That was cool. We paid for that visualizer, but not a lot, and you were able to customize it yourself and paid for it, but we didn't have to get anybody else involved. It was...
No. And it fits the song. We just wanted something that would work for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like band to band, right? It's kind of a pride thing where you're like, oh, I want to do it my own way, you know? But for a visualizer, you'll see these really famous bands and they'll do it with like somebody will make a lyric video and that's the one they'll use, you know, for the visualizer. So it's like, yeah, we did, you know, not cheap out, but like use something that wasn't necessarily created by us, but it was something that added to our vision for the song.
Yeah.
And it worked out. I like the way that our edits turned out for it and kind of the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Like it was perfect for the song because we weren't going to make a video for that song. Like we weren't going to try to do that. And we were learning about doing like a DIY visualizer. There's a little bit more that goes into that than most
we were
things.
actually on a timeline too because
we had our own schedule.
Our boys in Parallax were releasing, and then we were releasing, and then the light bulbs went off, and we're like, let's do a release stream, which is on YouTube. It's down here. We did a release stream that night, and we wanted to make sure the song was out by then, and the visualizer, you know, came right after the next day or something. So it all worked out, and I'm glad we did a visualizer for it. I mean, you can always have ideas music video wise for songs, but it's like sometimes it's hard to make them come to fruition. Yeah. I don't know what that word.
Ambience, fruition. We can't figure it out.
Fruition. Today. But no, it's not. It doesn't matter.
Fruits of our labors.
Fruits of our labors. But yeah, no, Red Eye was another cool experience. Like I said, with the visualizer.
Yep.
You essentially paid for a template and then you modified it from there. And we did some heavy editing, heavy modifying. And again, it's a visualizer, so it keeps your attention.
Yeah.
Something on for the background. Whatever.
It fit the song.
You know, the song vibe is very, very dark if you listen to the lyrics, but we're not gonna try to emulate that through a frickin'
iPhone
or through a video, because it's like then you take away somebody's perception of what it means to them.
Yeah.
And growing up listening to music, I hated when bands did that. When some song means something to you and then it's just not, you figure out what it means or you watch the video and it's like, well,
it
that
takes
was
away from
fucking lame.
Yeah, I got to tell you about that in a second, actually. But no, that's fair. I mean, we had our ideas for Red Eye. We had a lot of ideas that we had on the table about writing. I think we spent like a couple of hours down here just brainstorming.
Yeah.
And really what it came down to was, hey, I don't know if we can really execute this well enough for it to like add to the song.
It was pretty intricate, but again, it was almost too detailed that maybe somebody would be like, well, that's not my meaning.
Yeah, it takes away.
But anyways, the clown visualizer adds enough ambiance and atmosphere and, you know, kind of
vibe,
irkiness.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if that's the word.
Well, I get it, though. I don't know if it's a word, but I get it.
But yeah.
Yeah. God, there's bands that do that, though. One of my favorite bands has a really dark, like, album that's super, like, just, like, doomy, but, like, doom in a melancholy kind of way. And they're a good band. They're kind of, it's Rivers of Nile.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
And the album is Where Owls Know My Name, right? Really dark, really like, not freaky, but just kind of like doomy, but in a like I said, melancholic kind of way. Well, then you watch the music videos and they have saxophone in the song, but it's like done in a tasteful way. Well, then you watch the music videos and they're dressed in like pink outfits and it looks like a Wiggles commercial. And you're like, this takes, like, I get what they're going for. I understand it. Like, it's weird and rebellious, but I fucking hate it. It takes away from everything I like about this album. You know, it's like melancholy and weird, and they're doing psychedelic videos, and I'm like, this doesn't do anything for me.
That's, yeah, I've had songs like that too, where it's like,
Yeah.
I wish I could erase that
Yep.
video from my mind.
Yep.
'Cause yeah, but that's kind of what we did with Red Eye. Like I said, and like Tristan said, if we would have put more time into it, I bet we could have done it here. But I'm super happy with the end product, and all we did with that was released it digitally as a single, put the visualizer out there, and then actually, since we have 5 singles, we actually made a Red Eye CD, and it was just Red Eye, Deadweight, Decline, Dissociate, and Growl on the CD. So bands, musicians, if you're listening, that's one way to do it. Kind of like a greatest hits, not that there are greatest hits, not that we have great hits.
No, it's just this year's singles.
Yeah, but it's
like
like
a That's Now 17.
yeah,
except
you,
for
you still have people who want CDs, and you still want to try to sell shit at shows. So it's like, okay, we have these 5 singles that aren't on CDs. Well, let's
Right.
just go on a CD.
yeah, and I know
And that's what we did.
it was just a self-burn CD. It wasn't like a
No, it was because it's got the skull, and
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You did do that.
the
That's
artwork was done by myself.
Right. Yes, sir.
And then we used our typical distributor to distribute them, and there you go.
It turned out. I like the way that one looked, actually.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more color than most of our other albums.
That's what I was trying to go for, because Micromanager black and white, the Hour orange black and white, Center black and white,
Growl.
yeah, all that shit. So yeah, it was all right. Yeah,
Oh, I gotta add something to Deadweight really quick, because you remember the art for that.
yeah,
So we were trying to come up. We just wanted words to say Deadweight, right? That's really what we wanted. We wanted it in like a handwriting style, and I was trying to emulate that with a digital pen and paper, like a tablet and whatnot. And I couldn't quite do it. I got it close a couple of times, and then Trey's just working. I think this is when you were working the floor still, and you were welding, and fucking he just sends me an image. He says it should look like this. I think this is the vibes I'm going for here. And all I did is I took that image and I grabbed the text from it. I put it. I just fucking started cranking filters on it until it became legible, cleaned it up, and that's what worked. You know what I mean?
I actually didn't know you did that.
I told you I did that.
I forgot though.
Oh, I mean, obviously I like digitized it in the most gruesome way possible. Don't ever do the way I do things, but it gives it character.
Shit.
You just sent me this grainy ass screenshot. I'm like, that's it, right there. Give me that.
I wanted it to be like how you wrote the Hour chapter 1, but not that edgy, because
Yeah.
Deadweight's not that edgy.
You're right.
So we just couldn't hit it, and then one day I'm like, fuck it.
This is what it should look like. You got it, bud.
So yeah,
Yeah.
those are our 5 singles, and guys, this wraps up our Substack Backline podcast Discography series. This is
it.
This is the for now, until we come up with more music, and then
we'll
we're
have
gonna
more
wait.
discography.
Yeah, we're gonna wait a while till we let it pile up.
All
But,
right.
yeah, this will be out this Saturday. We're gonna get it put together yet tonight. It shouldn't take us long. We've got a template. I've got the paid subscribers. You guys are already scheduled, because I was able to do that while we were waiting to do this tonight. And then yeah, we'll get
you
this.
benefited from me being late. Thank me later.
God damn. But yeah, we'll do this, and all right. So
Yeah, we'll have to come up with some new things to podcast about outside of those.
yeah,
but
if you
we'll
want
see.
if you want us to talk about stuff on our podcast, let us know. We've had guests. We've had what it's like to play a show with Mile 134. We've had we talk about our experiences. We talk about gear, all that stuff. If you got a topic, hit us up. We're trying to do 1 podcast a month. We missed June because we were busy and whatever else. This will be for July, and let's figure something out for August. So I'm Trey.
This is Tristan.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Backline podcast.